Hey, yo, what up? What up? Welcome back. This is not a podcast. This is just my thoughts with Rob Markman back again. I know everybody's been waiting on this video. On Wednesday, Drake dropped the lawsuit, man. We're just going to talk about it. We're going to get right into it. Earlier this week, I think it was on Tuesday, Drake withdrew his petition against UMG and Spotify. And the next day, on Wednesday, January 15th, he filed an official lawsuit against UMG. He's claiming defamation, harassment in the second degree, violation of New York's general business law. That has to do with like the allegations of UMG using bots and radio and pay for play, Peola. That's where that comes into play, right? He's seeking. I'll read a little bit of this, but in this episode, I'm going to go through all 81 pages of the document. The lawsuit is 81 pages. I'm gonna throw it up on the screen. We're just going to go through it. It's going to be a marathon episode. I'm telling y'all now. I'm going to give y'all my opinion of what I think at the top, and then when we go point by point, we'll just talk about it as we go through it. So this is going to be a marathon of an episode. Maybe we'll break it up. We'll see. But so he's seeking, and this is way later in the document, but I'll start it at the top. Nominal damages, compensatory damages, including general, actual, consequential, and special damages in an amount to be determined at trial. He's requesting a trial. He's seeking punitive damages. He's seeking reasonable and necessary attorney fees. He's seeking reasonable and necessary costs of the suit, pre-judgment and post-judgment interest at the highest lawful rates, declaratory relief stating that the statements published and promoted by UMG and those attributable to UMG as reasonable, foreseeable publications identified with this complaint individually and collectively were and are false. So that just looks like he's looking for a statement. So besides the monetary damages, he's looking for a statement that says that this was false. He's looking for injunctive relief, enjoining UMG from making statements about the popularity of the recording, image, or video that it knows to be false based on fake streams or pay for play. That's talking about Not Like Us. Of course, this whole thing centers around Not Like Us, if I didn't say it in the beginning, and such an other relief as this court deems just and appropriate. So, this is all centered around Kendrick Lamar's record, Not Like Us. And, Drake is suing UMG, claiming that they promoted the record. We'll get into the why. I went through the whole lawsuit last night. It dropped Wednesday. I know everybody was expecting me to drop last night. I wanted to drop last night. I was in Nashville. Before I turned on the camera, though, in my hotel room, I said, well, let me just read this thing, right? Let me get through this thing. Let me make sure that I know what I'm talking about before I start talking about it. You know what I'm saying? But I read the whole 81 pages, and we're going to go through it. Again, this is going to be a long video for those that want the play-by-play, but at the top, I'm just going to tell you what I think. First of all, I just want to be clear. This isn't a lawsuit against Kendrick, like directly. You know what I'm saying? Like we could talk about the implications for sure, but technically this is not a lawsuit against Kendrick, though it's squarely focused on Kendrick's Not Like Us record, right? And the things Kendrick said lyrically, and then the promotion of the record by UMG. Both Drake and Kendrick are signed to UMG. Drake is basically accusing UMG of promoting the record as a way to defame him and weaken his leverage when his UMG deal is up for renegotiation this year. So Drake's deal is up for renegotiation, and Drake is saying, well, they promoted the record to defame me and basically weaken my leverage position. UMG put out a statement and they denied the claim. I think I have it on my phone. Let me just pull it up and I'll read the statement. I thought I had it. Here it goes. UMG says, not only are these claims untrue, but the notion that we would seek to harm the reputation of any artist, let alone Drake, is illogical. We have invested massively in his music, and our employees around the world have worked tirelessly for many years to help him achieve historic commercial and personal financial success. Throughout his career, Drake has intentionally and successfully used UMG to distribute his music and poetry, to engage in conventional, outrageous, back and forth rap battles, and rap battles is in parentheses, to express his feelings about other artists. He now seeks to weaponize the legal process to silence an artist's creative expression and to seek damages from UMG for distributing that artist's music. We have not and do not engage in defamation against any individual. At the same time, we will vigorously defend this litigation to protect our people and our reputation, as well as any artist who might directly or indirectly become a frivolous litigation target for having done nothing more than write a song. All right, so that's UMG's position. Here's just my thoughts before I get into it. And I feel comfortable. Y'all know me. Sometimes I hold my opinion back a little bit, or I temper my words, or I present the facts first before I get into it. But I'm going to get into it right now because this is not a new situation. The lawsuit is technically here, but we were expecting this with the petition. It's a lot of the same issues. So we've been talking about this for a while. On a human level, I sympathize with Drake. Being painted as a pedophile, like, man, that's got to suck. Like, being painted as a pedophile has to feel terrible. And I've always maintained I don't believe that Drake is a pedophile. Like, have we seen weird and questionable moves online? You know, kissing the young girl on stage. The friendship with Millie Bobby Brown was painted as weird when she was young. Weird, yeah. Questionable, sure, you can question it. But that's a long way between that and the stuff that, you know, the other things that kind of end up in the gossip blogs and stuff like that. There's a long way between that and being a pedophile. So it sucks. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But this is a rap battle. And it's a battle that Drake willingly engaged in. Willingly engaged, knowing that both he and Kendrick were signed to UMG. So, you know, there's a bit of a conflict there, right? But willingly engaged, knowing that they were both signed to UMG, willingly engaged, knowing that his contract would be up for renegotiation in 2025. And with that, in my opinion, should have had the foresight to know that an L of any type could hurt his bargaining power and his leverage. An L of any type, just losing a battle, you know, you might not be as hot. So you engage. There's a consequence to losing the battle. You know, a lot of times the consequence is, hey, you might not be as hot. You'll lose public favor. Like we've seen it with Meek Mill after back to back. We've seen it with a lot of people that Drake went up against, but particularly we've seen it with Meek Mill with back to back. And that alone could kind of hurt maybe your position in public opinion, which is then affect streams, then affect the bottom line, and you go up for renegotiation and you're not worth as much before the battle. So we know just on a regular battle level, you know, and you knew you was up for renegotiation, like he chose to engage. And, you know, Drake, like UMG said, Drake has engaged in a number of rap battles. And I said before that when this was jumping off the whole battle, I said he was battle tested, and people didn't like that I said that he was battle tested. But man, this ain't Drake's first rodeo. Common, Pusha, he had a little back and forth with Common, right? Pusha, we know that battle. Yay. You know, he had bars for Big Sean at some point. You know what I'm saying? We can go on and on. But this Kendrick battle is a battle that Drake willingly participated in. That's my point. He willingly participated and tossed some allegations himself. First of all, you can go back to my original push-ups video when he mentioned Kendrick's lady's name, when he mentioned Whitney's name. I would be around some bodyguards like Whitney. And that's his MO. He's mentioned Push's wife's name in Duppy Freestyle. He went at DJ Drama at one point, and you know, he attacked. You know, last year I had Drama Girl, not right now, like attacks. He dissed Common. Serena was kind of at the center of that. He dissed Serena's husband recently on one of the recent albums. One of Drake's go-to moves in this battle, and you know, I like to liken this thing to boxing. Some of y'all heard me before, like styles make fights. Some artists just have, some boxers just have a tell, like they have a certain style that they fight in, and sometimes it could be predictive. Not the same to rap, not a one-to-one, but it's not dissimilar. Drake, his go-to move is he gonna go at your woman. So he mentioned Whitney. And then remember, I said on here, Kendrick said, let's keep it a friendly fade. It shows up in the lyrics. But remember, I told y'all a long time ago that after push-ups, there was communication between Kendrick and Drake. And it was more like, hey, bro, let's leave the family out of it. And you could hear it in the records. These lines start to show up in the records. You know what I'm saying? Keep it a friendly fade. Because remember, originally it was motherfuck the big three, it's just big me. It was way more lyrical than it was personal. Then on Family Matters, you know, of course, Kendrick accused Drake of being a bad father. But Family Matters come and here comes the outright accusation. Drake accuses Kendrick of beating his child's mother, beating his lady. accuses her of having a child with Dot's best friend, Dave Free, and says that Dot's raising the kid. I heard, maybe he tempered it with, I heard the kid might be Dave Free's, but you knew what he was getting at. So once you take things to that personal level, right? This is just my opinion. You can't control how someone responds. You can't cross a line and then try to redefine where the line is after you crossed it. To me, I just think Drake didn't think this through, and Dot won the battle because he had the better records and the better strategy. The PDF line, the A minor line, the Baka got a weird case line all stuck because Not Like Us was just a better record. It had all the makings of a hit record. So it stuck. What if Family Matters would have stuck and Kendrick would have had to deal with the domestic violence allegations? How might that affect his business and his bottom line and the deal that he goes on has going on with UMG? Now, granted, being called a pedophile is worse than a woman beater. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to children, because there's no redemption with that. There's no redemption like and being an abuser, domestic abuser is wrong. But I've seen men, turn their life around. I don't know that there is any redemption with being when it comes to children, when it comes to abusing children. So yeah, being called a pedophile is worse, is arguably worse than being called a domestic abuser, right? But you can't slap somebody and then get mad when they punch you in the face. Like, you came with a very specific insult, very personal, very accusatory, and then Dot just punched you in the face, hit you with something harder. It can't. This lawsuit, to me, it lacks accountability and shows that Drake is not really acknowledging his role in the battle and how it got this far. And he's suing UMG, Universal Music Groups. I have no love for UMG. I bet they treat artists like shit. I'm sure. And let me go back. The major label system was built to exploit artists, literally by the definition of the word. And exploit hit records, right? And just push them out everywhere. And Not Like Us is a hit. Again, why is Drake surprised? We know how the majors move. Him better than most. The bottom line is the most important thing. And they had hit records on their hands. I don't know if UMG did the promotional tactics that Drake is accusing him of, but what are they supposed to do? Not promote a record? It's a hit record. And all they care about is the bottom line. Then Drake, you come with a hit record. Keep the battle going. Oh my God, this battle, like, I'm sure people got bonuses and paid off for this battle, man. It helped the bottom line for sure. But Kendrick had the hit record, and this is rap. It's a rap battle, and as much as Drake has mixed it up with all types of artists, to sue after you lost the rap battle is just wrong to me. And it's not like Kendrick was battling Lecrae, right? And a positive rapper who was just minding his business. Like, one like Kendrick was just picking on somebody. It was like y'all been engaging for years. Now, what if Jay-Z turns around and sues for Ether? Or MC Shan goes and sues for The Bridge Is Over? Or Roxanne Shante? You heard things KRS One said on that record about Roxanne Shante? What if MC Ren sues for No Vaseline? What if Meek turned around and sues sues UMG for Back to Back? If Drake wants to sue Universal for how they treat artists, if he wants to create a better system for artists, that's fine. I'm all for that. Let's go. Change the game, shake it up. But doing it on the back of a diss record in a battle you just lost just ain't the way. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my 1-2 on it. That's how I feel. But I want to get into we just gonna scroll. There's a lot to go through, man. So I just want to kind of scroll through this. I'll read some of it. I'll skip over some other stuff, man. But we're gonna put it on screen. I'm trying something a little different. So as you see here, this was filed on 1/15. That was Wednesday. Aubrey Drake Graham, the plaintiff, UMG, civil action, jury trial demanded. He starts off with the introduction. A single lie can destroy a reputation of integrity. While it takes years to build a reputation, it could be ruined in 5 minutes. That's a quote from Lucian Grange in 2024, March 25th, 2024. And I believe that's when he was being implicated in some of the P. Diddy legal drama, and so he didn't like his name being thrown in it. So that was a quote that Lucian gave. But they start this off interesting, right? This is point one. Listen to this. In the middle of the night on May 7th, 2024, an armed group of assailants drove up to Toronto house in which Drake and his family resided. Drake was inside. The car stopped in front of the residence. Someone yelled, "Fuck Drake," and at least one gunman began to open fire. One bullet went through the security gate and hit Drake's front door. Another bullet struck and wounded a security guard who was also one of Drake's friends. While the car drove away, Drake and others in the house summoned help for the security guard and did everything possible to keep him alive during nearly the 30 minutes for the ambulance to arrive. Drake and others labored to keep the man alive by applying pressure to the gunshot wound with towels. Blood was everywhere. So we remember this. It was in the news. Unfortunate, and I hope somebody was hurt, man, seriously hurt. But it was the shooting at Drake's house. So they're already opening the suit with this dramatic scene, and what it is that they're trying to say this is because of Not Like Us. And I don't know what it was for. I don't know what the motive, but if you remember, there was a shooting. I had always assumed and assumed like really like using the word assume in the pure sense, because I don't know. But if you remember, so this happened on May 7th. On April 29th, so that's approximately a week before, I'm reading off a Complex. Security guard shot multiple times outside house linked to Cash XO in a potential home invasion attempt. So Cash, remember, Weekend was a part of this. There was this is back and forth on the Future Metro album, and just a week before, security guard was shot. Unfortunately, at Cash's house. Cash is part of the XO team. And they're saying at least that was a home invasion attempt. I don't know if these two things were linked. I'm not, but I don't know what the reason. I don't know that this had anything to do with Not Like Us either. Point two, they just go on to talk about the security guard. The very next day, May 8th, a different intruder using his bare hands to dig a hole under the security fence surrounding Drake's Toronto house. He dug a hole deep enough under the fence, got onto the property, but the home security guards caught him. So May 7th, something happened. May 8th, somebody was right back at it. On May 9th, the very next day, another break-in attempt happened. So now they say in the 2 decades leading up to May of 2004, although Drake was constantly in the public eye, nothing remotely like these events had ever happened to him or his family. But these events were not coincidental. They immediately followed and were approximately caused by UMG's actions leading up to on May 4th, 2024. And that was the release of Not Like Us. You know what I'm saying? So this is legend. They're saying because of UMG and releasing Not Like Us, now all this stuff is happening at Drake's home. Let's see. The song in question is Not Like Us, written and performed by Kendrick Lamar. The recording was intended to convey the specific, unmistakable, and false factual allegation that Drake is a criminal pedophile and to suggest that the public should resort to vigilante justice in the response. The record is defamatory because its lyrics, its album image, and its music video. So they're saying the lyrics, the album cover, which we all seen, the music video, all advanced a false, malicious narrative that Drake is a pedophile. The lyrics repeatedly accuse Drake of engaging in criminal acts, including calling him a certified pedophile and a predator who needs to be placed on neighborhood watch. The image was designed to reinforce and, in fact, reinforces the accusation by depicting Drake's actual Toronto house, covered in the icons that are known to be used by law enforcement, as well as public safety applications like Citizen, who identified child sex offenders' residences online. The video bolsters the same message. For example, showing images associated with sex trafficking and juxtaposition the game of hopscotch with lyrics accusing Drake of trying to strike a chord and is probably A minor. This is important here. This lawsuit is not about the artist who created Not Like Us. So this is the clear distinction when we're saying, yo, this is about UMG. This is not about Kendrick Lamar. The lawsuit is not about the artist who created Not Like Us. It is instead entirely about UMG, the music company that decided to publish, promote, exploit, and monetize allegations that it understood were not only false but dangerous. As UMG knows and has known at all relevant times. The recording, image, and videos allegations are unequivocally false. Drake is not a pedophile. Drake has never engaged in any acts that would require him to be placed on neighborhood watch. Drake has never engaged in any sexual relations with a minor. Drake has never been charged with or convicted of any criminal acts whatsoever. So they're just saying, you get it. It's all pretty self-explanatory, right? We'll go to point 10. It says UMG's campaign was successful. The recording cloaks cleverly dangerous lyrics behind a catchy beat and inviting hook. That's funny. I mean the words, yeah, that's a hit record. Like, yeah, the lyrical content was what it was, but they're saying, well, UMG helped propel this to be a hit, but again, Not Like Us came out on a Saturday. From the first time we heard it, like the majority of hip hop fans was like, nah, this is it. Before any type of promotion might have kicked in on the track, the battle was already won. The record was a hit record. You could hear a hit record. Capitalizing on those attributes, UMG used every tool at its disposal to ensure the world would hear that Drake's likes him young. We'll go off. So they're talking about the streams, right? And how much it streams. Says on point 11, but billions of players and ubiquity not enough for UMG. Over the course of the last several months, UMG has made significant financial investments and leveraged its professional connections via sophisticated and highly organized public campaigns to arrange for the recording to be performed at one of the most significant and viewed cultural events of the year, the Super Bowl. So that point number 11 is interesting because now they're bringing the Super Bowl into it. I'm sure Drake does not want this song to be played at the Super Bowl. I don't know if this scares off the NFL. I've always maintained I don't see a world where Drake performs Not Like Us in its entirety at the Super Bowl, but I think we'll get some version of the song because the NFL is just too conservative. And also, if I'm being honest, the Super Bowl is not the place for that. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's a hit record. It's a big record. Super Bowl is not a place for that record. It's a hip hop thing. Like, it's our thing. Like, I mean, it's obviously a pop record, but I don't think he ever was going to perform Not Like Us in its entirety. But I believe that we're going to get a piece of Not Like Us. I believe we're going to get not a version of Not Like Us in some shape, form, or fashion because it is a hit song. It is absolutely a hit song. It's a song that everybody wants to hear. But I wonder, by mentioning the Super Bowl here, if this is meant to scare off the NFL. And they're saying UMG is legally responsible for the release and promotion of the material. And then, okay, so now they're saying that UMG's campaign is point 13 went beyond the traditional music company playbook. UMG has unleashed every weapon in its arsenal, including information and belief, certain practices that are unlawful. So, check this out. It says in a memorandum to staff on the highlights of 2021, Lucien Grange remarked that it is harder than ever for artists to break through the noise. As, for example, 60,000 songs are added to Spotify every day. UMG made sure that Not Like Us broke through the noise. You see, I don't believe, like, yes, 60,000 songs are added to Spotify every day. It's hard to break through the noise. But when you're talking about Drake and you're talking about Kendrick, those are the two of the biggest artists in music. Definitely the two biggest rap artists. I don't think Lucien was talking about them. When Kendrick drops, the world stops, hip hop stops and listens to it. When Drake drops, hip hop stops and listens to it. So, it's funny that they're using this quote, but I don't think this is applicable here. Predictably, millions of people who listen to the recording or saw the image and video believe the defamatory material to be true. I don't know. I definitely see in the comments a lot of y'all say, yeah, he's a pedophile. I just don't run into people in my real life, if I'm being honest, and we have conversations who believe this to be true. UMG had previously published Lamar's song Euphoria, which was also widely understood to be targeted at Drake, which stated, "Don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell no truths about you." This just feels like rap. This is rap. This is rap, dog. Like, this is a rap battle. This is ridiculous. So it goes on and it gives like it likens this whole thing to Pizzagate, if you remember what Pizzagate was. And he starts talking about how the mob-like response to the recording continues to unfold on and offline. Recently, flyers were pasted all over Toronto with the photo of Drake and Canadian YouTuber who was sentenced to 3 years in prison for sexual assaults. So he's saying, yo, they're linking him to real life. They're taking this rap lyric and making it real life, and they're linking Drake to like real life sexual predators, right? Um, we'll go. They're saying point 18, the violence and vitriol directed at Drake was foreseeable. So they're saying that it was predictable that the things at his house, the things that are happening online, they're trying to hold UMG responsible and say that like they should have seen this coming. 19, UMG understands just how dangerous these kinds of false allegations are. Indeed, when it comes to these allegations against UMG and his executive, they have not hesitated to take legal action against their accusers. This is the quote at the beginning now. Just last year, UMG and Sir Grange were accused, in their words, without the slightest factual basis, of aiding and abetting Sean P. Diddy Combs in criminal sexual acts. Moving to dismiss the complaint against them, UMG and Sir Grange argued that the accusations were offensively false allegations of criminal behavior that will be libelous per se, if not contained within a legal filing. Sir Grange called the allegations against him knowingly and maliciously false and defamatory. Sir Grange also explained that a single lie, this is the quote that was in the beginning, a single lie can destroy a reputation of integrity. And while it takes years to build a reputation, it could be ruined in 5 minutes. So, they're taking Lucian's Grange, his words, and twisting them and sending them right back. That was a 50 line, right? I'm slick enough to twist your words and send them back at you. So when Sir Lucian Grange and UMG, were accused of being part or complicit in P. Diddy's crimes, that was his quote. So Drake is likening this to that. Skip by a bit. Many months, this is point 21, many months prior to the filing of this litigation, Drake attempted to address these claims privately with UMG. Drake believed, per Sir Lucian Grange, that UMG's leadership should be held accountable for the decisions we make and how we conduct ourselves. And UMG purports to care about threatening and abusive behavior. Indeed, UMG's code of conduct notes, so they're using code of conduct. They maybe got that from an employee handbook. So, but basically the point here is that before this litigation, Drake said that he attempted to address these claims with UMG. UMG's response to Drake was especially perverse, given that it is perfectly willing to sue to protect its own interests. So that's the P. Diddy thing. And when it believes that doing so will protect its property, UMG is engaged in the business of acquiring, administering, licensing, and exploiting, otherwise monetizing the music of its artists, including Drake, and it does not hesitate to file lawsuits when doing so fits its financial interests. This lawsuit is both necessary and appropriate because UMG has repeatedly defamed Drake while exploiting and monetizing his work. So he's saying, on one hand, you're monetizing against me and you're defaming me with Not Like Us. So yeah, Drake says in point 23 that he's been left with no choice but to seek legal redress against UMG. UMG now here's what it is, right? And this is what I said, but it says 23 says UMG may spin this complaint as a rap beef going legal, but this lawsuit is not about a war of words between artists. This lawsuit involves no claims against Kendrick Lamar or any other artist. Instead, it is about UMG, the publisher and exclusive right holders of Lamar's music, as well as Drake's, and its malicious decision to publish and promote through covert means false allegations about Drake that UMG knew were false, explosive, inflammatory, and certain to result in both vitriol and substantial harm to Drake's reputation. Again, doubling down, this is not about Kendrick, but here it is. UMG also released Family Matters. And again, yes, being accused of a pedophile is worse than a domestic abuser, but I mean, that's still a strong and heinous accusation and can damage businesses and reputation. It just didn't stick because Kendrick had the better record. So again, I get what Drake is saying here, but it's like, bro, you engaged in this rap beef. You know what I mean? I want to get to the part where Okay, so now it just explains who the parties are. So it's Drake, the plaintiff, UMG. You know, I want to get to the part. This is about their addresses. Um, I want to get to the part where it says that he is renegotiating. This just defines who all the parties are. Background. It's all background stuff. It's all the stuff we know. It talks about Drake was part of Degrassi and how Drake came up, and it's just giving background information for those who may not know. Uh, his celebrity, his philanthropic efforts, all of that stuff. And then if you see here, point 40B, UMG is a music industry giant. So this is just gonna go on to define for the court what UMG is and how powerful they are and stuff like that. So this is all background stuff. And then, you know, this is going to go on. UMG and Drake have a long-standing partnership. It's going to start detailing UMG began profiting off of Drake's art in 2009. The parties extended their contract in 2022. After announcing the 2022 contract extension, Sir Grange described Drake as one of the biggest artists of today and expressed that UMG couldn't be more excited about what lies ahead for its relationship with Drake. Through the contract extension, UMG profits from his exclusive rights to exploit Drake's music. So Drake signed in 2029, after So Far Gone, right? And they extended their contract in 2022. Cool, let's go on. We're about to get to the part. Here it goes. Point number 50, section 50. The contract between UMG and Drake is up for renegotiation in 2025. By the spring of 2024, UMG understood that the rise of streaming platforms had enhanced the bargaining power of artists. So he's saying in 2024, they knew this is all about leverage. Established artists whose contracts are coming up for renewal are in an improved position to demand higher take rates due to the improvement in the visibility of cash flows and risk reduction. And as described below on information and belief, UMG was incentivized to act and, in fact, did act in a manner to reduce that bargaining leverage in advance of upcoming negotiations with Drake over contract renewal. So he's saying that, and I don't think, I wouldn't put it past UMG, but like UMG didn't plan this battle. Yeah, I've been engaging in this for 10 years with Kendrick, and it finally just bubbled over. And is Drake now has he lost leverage after losing this battle? Possibly, but you can't have it both ways, because if you look online, the thing that y'all tell us, that Drake fan sites tell us, is that he's still the most streamed artist. He's still streaming more than Kendrick. People are still listening to Drake. So that means the money's still rolling. So that means he's still earning for them. Did he lose leverage? I could see that he lost leverage, but at the same time, it can't be, hey, I'm still the most streamed artist. I'm still making the most money, and you lost that. Like, is it Uchi Wally or is one Mike? But his reputation did take a hit, and I'd argue that he made it worse. I mean, the pedophile stuff is bad, but I think his actions after this, I think he could have moved past this battle. I don't think anybody, truthfully in their right mind, believe this guy that he was a pedophile, man. It's a rap record. And then in D over here in section 51, it starts to define Kendrick's relationship with UMG. So it talks about, him being signed to Top Dog, to TDE. This talks about we get to section 54. It talks about May 4th, 2024. That's when Not Like Us came out. So, starting to put it down. Within the first minute, the recording identifies Drake by name and states Lamar has heard that Drake has I don't even know that word, predilection for underage women. Say, Drake, I heard you like them young. I hear you like them young. The next line is a thinly veiled threat that Drake should be careful and that he never ends up in prison. It's just funny to see all of this. So they're just going through the lines, right? Trying to strike a chord is probably A minor. In section 60, it says wop, wop, wop. Lamar says fuck him up. They're saying that's a show of violence. Later, the recording threatens that if Drake comes to Oakland, where Lamar grew up, he would not make it out alive. I think that Oakland show is going to be your last stop. Kendrick's from Compton, as far as I know. I don't know if Kendrick ever spent time in Oakland. But yeah, man. So they're just going through the lyrics. You know, I also seen some things that said, and this is semantics, whether whether Kendrick or not actually called him a pedophile or he just alluded to it. I don't know defamation law, so I can't tell you. But they're just going through all the lyrics here and how damaging these lyrics are. You know, section 52. Further, the recordings refrain that Drake is not like us. The recording alludes to Drake's Jewish heritage, saying that Drake is not a colleague, but a fucking colonizer. So they're going for it. Here we see the album covers, how it appears on Spotify and Amazon Music and Apple Music and Google Images. We know what the album cover is. And here they talk about section 64. Just this is about the image. You know what I'm saying? And that UMG knew the allegations were false and baseless, and they put the song out anyway. On information and belief, he says Sir Grange and Mr. Janik. Janik is the head of Interscope, were involved in the initial publication of the record, the recording, and image. Separately, on information and belief, Monty and Avery Littman, that's Republic, that's where Drake is signed. Kendrick is at Interscope, so he's with Janik. Monty and Avery Littman are Republic, so that's Drake's label, failed to prevent the publication. So he's saying, yo, Janik knew, and basically Interscope put this out, and Republic didn't do anything to stop it to, help Drake. He goes on to say that, talking about the bonus structure, it's somewhere in here, but the bonus structure is that John Janik gets his bonus. Like if Interscope is making the most money and Interscope hits his numbers, John Janik is incentivized to make Interscope hit his numbers because his bonus is based off of Interscope's success and not UMG's overall success. So even though these labels are both under UMG, they're kind of competing against each other. But I get it. I don't know how it's relevant here. They're saying here that the next day Drake made a song called The Heart Part 6. This is where he publicly denies the defamatory material. Then they talk about Drake is the target of violence almost immediately, a couple of days after the song came out. So, this goes back to the beginning. We go back if it's section 80, no pun intended, section 80 on July 4th. 2 months after UMG initially published the recording, they're talking about here now the video comes out. So now they're going to get into breaking down how the video was damaging to Drake. You can see here on the video, you see the caption, certified lover boy, certified pedophile. They talk about the A minor lyric, and they just talked about how they matched up the images, when Kendrick, when the A minor comes in lyrically, Kendrick is hopscotching. So, that's a children's game, right? Or, they're saying that the containers, the shipping containers are like a thinly veiled reference to human trafficking. Him with the pinata, with the owl pinata, is like violence against Drake. And then they also talk about the owl in the cage at the end, which means that Drake should be locked up. And then this section, UMG published the defamatory material with knowledge of or reckless disregard for us, so they knew it was false, and knowledge that it was reasonably foreseeable to cause harm. So they're saying, hey, you knew this was false and you knew this was going to cause harm, and you did it anyway. What else is here? They likened it against a Pizzagate. Now they're talking about how they promoted it. This is so much. It's so much stuff. A lot of it, like repeats too. Here's where they talk about like podcasts and tweets and just the success of it, right? Section 97 on June 9th, Interscope reposted a tweet bragging about Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us becoming the fastest rap song to reach 300 million Spotify streams in only 35 days. That this is the pop out concert, and they're saying this is a UMG account, and so they were at pop out, and they took a picture of the pop out concert. So it's like, hey, they're actively promoting, and this is all the ways. Section 100, Greg Morella, president of promotions and executive vice president of Capital, another UMG label, promoted the pop out concert on his personal Instagram page with the same photo posted by UMG. I'm just like, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Not go to the concert? I don't know how like, I don't think that's relevant. On August 29th, UMG posting on X with a link to Spotify Summer Hits 2024 playlist with a caption boasting that the recording was song of the summer. Like, so, he's just like, hey, they're promoting their records. On the YouTube channel, on Interscope's YouTube channel, Not Like Us appears in the playlist. Why wouldn't they? They talk about the Grammy nominations that Not Like Us got. So, they're just setting up how successful the record is. On May 4th, Complex tweeted a photo of the image, the cover, and described it for what it was. The cover for Not Like Us is Drake's Toronto mansion with sex offender app markers. And then here they're talking about in section 114 about, because there's also UMG has a publishing arm, and how they made the song available to license, so you can license it for TV shows and commercials and television and film and stuff like that. And when you do it, like, somebody will come to the site and say, yo, I want a song about water, I want a song about the weather, I want a song that's hot. And so they put this song under winning and achievement. So not like it's like a victory song was like the lyrical theme. Yeah, this is all that they made it available, that you could publish it. We're just going through this. Oh man, we're halfway there. It's a lot, man. UMG also granted licenses for the recording to be played at sporting events, award shows, and political rallies. The recording has been played and broadcasted on television coverage of games for MLB, NBA, WNBA. The recording also played during the July 2024 ESPY Awards, an annual award ceremony that honors the top athletes and sports performers of the year. Sounds like a hit to me. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like WNBA, NBA, like, it's a hit record, man. Here they talk about they start talking about fake streams. Oh, look, the recording also became the postseason anthem for the Los Angeles Dodgers playoff run and eventually the 2024 World Series victory. The Dodgers had featured the recording in a hype video posted to their official YouTube page. Sounds like a Dodgers choice to me. Now, yeah, UMPG could have said, no, we're not going to license this song to you. But why would they do that? Their whole job is to exploit any type of record. This was the hottest record of the summer, so the Dodgers wanted it as their theme song. You know what I mean? Lamar set to headline the Apple Music Super Bowl in New Orleans, February 9, 2025, which will be broadcasted on Fox on Information and Belief. UMG conferred financial benefits and leverage existing business relationships to secure the headliner spot at the Super Bowl. What are they not supposed to get their artist a Super Bowl spot? Like, I don't understand, what this is either. Now, in 127, they're talking about the fake streams, or cause third party fake streams, like accusing them of doing fake streams. This was the whole thing with the guy in the academics thing, saying that he used bots to achieve 30 million streams on Spotify in the initial days following the recording's release. So, and that he was paid $2,500. And then this just talks about how the fake streams of, basically how it works. UMG offered undisclosed financial incentives to promote the recording. We're gonna get to the part. This part talks about like Peola, pay for play engagements with radio and streaming services. and Peola is illegal. And 132 says Drake has also received information that UMG engaged in the classic pay for play scheme by paying to increase the airplay of the recording on the radio, including radio stations in New York. Specifically, Drake has received information that at least one member of UMG's radio promotion team made payments to an independent radio promoter who agreed to transfer those payments to the radio station and all radio stations in exchange for these. Like, I don't know the legalities of it. Obviously, it says here too in 2006, UMG agreed to pay $12 million in the settlement with New York. So, UMG was kind of fined, or there was a settlement about Peola, right, in 2006. That's all well and good. I'm not here to discuss the legalities of that and if using an independent radio promoter is legal or not. What I'm saying is, this is how the record industry works. Like right or wrong, this is how it works. What I'm saying is Drake has benefited from these practices for years. UMG has absolutely promoted his records to radio and used, like, they didn't just make this up for Kendrick in this record. You know what I'm saying? So here they cite Funk Flex in November 2024. Radio DJ Funk Master Flex released the alleged price list for Peola on radio stations: $350,000 for a pop station, $250,000 for urban radio, $100,000 for mix show, $3,000 to $5,000 per song for local DJs. So who knows? Was this a part of? I don't know. Again, it's a hit record. I don't know at this point how much you have to pay people to play "Not Like Us," who was the song of the summer. You know what I'm saying? When they say good dope sells itself. Here they talk about the search results on playlists, determining which. So this is about the playlist thing. So the question is whether this is legal or not. It says UMG used bots to stream the video. Here it says that UMG, the plaintiff understands that UMG paid or directly or indirectly the popular NFR podcast to promote the recording of the video without disclosing the payment. As a part of the deal, UMG, the NFR podcast, publicly published podcast episodes, tweets, and other content about the recording. And Section 140 is about when you said to Siri, yo, when you said play Certified Lover Boy, they played Not Like Us instead. Jeremy Heck described this. The way Siri works, it also works with lyrics. So if you said Certified Lover Boy is a lyric in Not Like Us. So that's where part of the confusion came from. It makes sense to me. Here's the other thing about this NFR thing. I don't know whether they were paid or not. But what I'm saying is, Twitter and certain accounts and social accounts, everybody was incentivized. Whenever you posted something with Not Like Us, it did numbers. So you were just incentivized by it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much you got to pay somebody. Like, the traffic was coming through. Any video I made, any tweet I made, any post I made about Kendrick or Drake, the traffic was coming through. You didn't have to pay me for that. There is a point about and I've talked about this before. Now they start getting into the streamers, right? The whitelisting. UMG has a formal ban on whitelisting and had never before whitelisted a song on any platforms to the plaintiff's knowledge. In or around June 2024, UMG reinstituted the copyright restrictions on the recording. This talks about, I got to go back one. On May 4th, UMG removed the recording's copyright restrictions on YouTube and Twitch, thereby whitelisting the recording. You know what whitelisting is like, it's why I don't play music on my thing, right? Because the second I play music on it, my video gets demonetized and I don't get the money. The money goes to whoever the copyright holder is. I could pay 20 seconds of a song in an hour-long video and I get demonetized. That's why I don't play music. First of all, I think it's a bullshit practice. These streamers, everybody out here reacting things that I'm doing, we're promoting these records anyway. You know what I'm saying? But the labels, they don't play fair. So yeah, I don't put music on my shit, but a lot of people do, and they do the reactions. And so what they did with Not Like Us is they whitelisted it, meaning that the streamers could play the music on their streams and they can keep the money. They can still monetize against it. Dope. You know what I'm saying? They should do that for everybody. But here's the thing with me. I said this before. I know people got upset when I said it, but I was contacted by a team that was working on behalf of Drake that asked me on these videos to show him some love in the battle, like kind of help swing public perception more in his favor. And in exchange, they would give me information that I can run with and create videos with, or for like exclusive information that I would get. And they also said that they would whitelist his songs. I could play his songs in my videos and keep the monetization. I ultimately declined. It wasn't for me. It wasn't something I was interested in doing. But I say they was playing the same game. They were playing the same game. I don't know if whitelisting is illegal. It seemed like good business to me. And these streamers should be rewarded. So now, the Cartier family is up here. No Life Shaq is being named in this thing. Casanat is being named in this thing. RDC, Zayas from formerly of Zayas and Bilu is being named in this thing. The shit should be whitelisted anyway. They shouldn't have to be demonetized if they want to react to a song. You know what I'm saying? They're helping promote your shit. You Casanat is like, you'll be lucky for Casanat to react to your song. I think Kendrick and Drake are on a different level, but for most artists, that's a game changer for them. So they should be. This shouldn't be a practice anyway. But anyway, this was smart to me. And like I said, I don't know if Drake ended up whitelisting the songs. I know they offered to whitelist the songs for me. So he was playing the same game. So yeah, this just talks about UMG's campaign to spread the defamatory material was successful. So this just starts to say, within the first week, the recording debuted at #1. So this section, where we're at 146, is just saying how successful it was, right? Won a nomination, or got a nomination for Song of the Year at the VMAs. Billboard reported that the song had 45 million streams on October 7th. Rolling Stone said the song was amazing. So this is just like all the success. And then UMG promoted the material with knowledge that it would recklessly disregard for falsity and knowledge that it was reasonably foreseeable to cause Drake harm. So this is again just talking about the promotion of it. But this talks about, on July 24th, Drake via his counsel sent a letter to Universal's general counsel and head of litigation about the recording, which explained that the material falsely accused Drake of engaging in criminal acts, including sex trafficking. So in July, he sent the letter. The letter made clear UMG's actions was causing Drake's concrete and substantial harm, and specifically referenced the armed attack on Drake's Toronto. So he's just saying, hey, we made UMG aware that this was a problem. It says in section 156, following a telephone call between counsel for the parties on July 31st, UMG sent a letter to Drake's representative in which UMG represented that it understood its preservation obligations and warned that it would be imprudent of Drake to pursue these claims against UMG. So Drake sent a letter and said, a legal letter, and they said, hey, it's not going to be smart to go against us. On August 1st, Drake sent UMG another letter emphasizing the harm to Drake as well as his business. So he sent the second letter. And in section 158, UMG's actions did not change. After receiving 2 notices from Drake about the false allegations and the description of severe harm he suffered, UMG took no steps to address the matter. To the contrary, UMG continued to promote and license the song, including through numerous social media posts boasting of the recording's success. And paying for the record to be nominated at the 2025 Grammys and played at the Super Bowl. I don't know if they paid for the record to be nominated at the Grammys. I mean, there's definitely there's campaigns and stuff like that. I never heard of like paying for a nomination. But Drake also has beef with the Grammys, so But I don't know. I never heard of anybody paying for a nomination. I've heard of when nominations are coming up that labels go extra hard to promote certain songs, and you'll see letters sometime online, hey, for Grammy consideration, this song and this song and that, so they're just like campaigning for it, but I don't think they pay for the Grammys directly. um Maybe it didn't say that. Paying for the recording to be nominated. So paying for the recording to not be nominated. That could mean promotion, I feel like not paying the Grammys, but paying to elevate the record so it could be nominated. Um Throughout the summer and fall, Drake attempted to resolve these claims privately and UMG without resorting to litigation. So he tried to do this outside of court and they weren't having it. UMG .160, UMG declined to do anything to assist Drake, including even going so far as refusing to agree to mediate with Drake. UMG instead insisted that it bore no responsibility for the harm Drake had suffered and represented that if Drake sued UMG, UMG would respond by bringing claims against Kendrick Lamar, and intimated that Drake would face public ridicule for the perception that he had sued another rapper. Um, which is true, which is absolutely true, which is going on now, and that's why he's making the distinction. This is not about Kendrick, but the UMG will respond by bringing claims against Kendrick Lamar. I still don't know what that's about, but I think I talked about this before. I think this is about indemnification. A lot of recording contracts have indemnification clauses, which is like if the artist does something that can bring a suit and harm to the label, that the label is not going to take responsibility and they're going to kind of just pass that and shift that off to the artist. So it's an indemnification clause. I don't have a ton of experience with it, but I've definitely dealt with contracts, specifically distribution contracts, where that's the case with samples. Like it's almost like, yo, if you give us a record with a sample in it, and you don't disclose what the sample is, or that there's even a sample in it, and we put it out and then they come back and sue, that's not on us. That's on you. Like we're indemnified. Like we're not legally responsible for you. You're responsible for declaring your own samples. So I think, and I'm not sure, but I think, and I would love somebody maybe who has more inner workings to weigh in, but that whole UMG will respond by bringing claims against Kendrick Lamar relates to indemnification, and which is an industry standard. But I'm also sure they said that to scare him. I also believe they said that to scare him, and they're not wrong here. Yeah, if you bring claims against us, you're going to face public ridicule for the perception that you sued another rapper. Technically, he's not suing UMG. I mean, technically, he's not suing Kendrick. He's suing UMG, and that's already happening. So the public ridicule is real. And it's just basically saying I went back to playing the UMG. They're not doing anything. Um, UMG caused Drake substantial harm by publishing and promoting the defamatory material. This is section 166. Um, and now members of the public believe and repeat the false allegations. So now they start pulling stuff from Twitter and social media of what people believe. You know what I'm saying? Like to say, hey, people really believe this. But um, you know, first of all, how much of this is bots? You know what I'm saying? But they're going YouTube comments, tweets, like, nah, that many pedos in one spot is crazy. Drake canceled. Like these are just like public reactions to all of this. This is a lot. I need to find a better way to do this. I might not at this point. The CIA and FBI need to step in. So this is all just public reaction. Um, I bet Drake touches and they use his son names. That's terrible. Oh, they talk about a NPR podcast where they talked about Drake and whether they believe the allegations. It's funny. They shout out to Sydney Madden, who used to work with me over at MTV. She's over at NPR now. So, you know, it says they understood the recording to be linking Drake and his alleged criminal behavior to other famous figures who were revealed to the public as sexual predators and later convicted for crimes such as rapper R. Kelly. Talking about Sydney Madden. Miss Madden insinuated that the allegations could be true, commenting that there's so much dirt has been unearthed. So they're using podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Um, to say that, this is all like, yo, people are believing it. You know what I'm saying? Drake not going to be able to touch down into Cali going forward. Somebody gonna Biggie Smalls him. That's terrible. Homies out there don't tolerate pedophilia, not even joking. So, they're just going on and on. One thing I will say that I kind of skipped over, not purposely, I was just moving so fast that also in the beginning when Drake talked about his house getting shot up, he did talk about having to take his son out of his school and put him in another school, having to move his son and his mom and shit like that. And that's terrible when it affects the family. I feel you. But you know, shit get ugly, man. It's crazy. This is a meme about Drake and who is that, Epstein and Weinstein. So now like, the big three, like that meme. So they're using all the different memes. In the summer 2024, users updated the description of Drake's Toronto address in rideshare applications Uber and Lyft. Users have edited the address to read Drizzy Touch Kids, Drizzy's Fun Time Chamber, and A Minor. So people do some terrible shit, man. Like again, and that's why I say like I get that this shit sucks. I get that, yeah, it's probably caused distress to his family, to his mom's, having to move his mom's, having to take his son out of school. His security guard, got shot, though we don't know that had anything to do with the record. I'm just saying this has been a tough time for him. But dog, you engaged in the battle and you made it personal. You have to take accountability for this. It can't like this just comes off that yo, he lost. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. Less than a month after UMG published the recording, author Martin Vidal published an article titled The Drake Kendrick Rap Beef, a case study of mob psychology. So, this just goes on to talk about mob mentality that we see on social media every day. Here they did polls, The Economist and YouGov poll Americans did section 193 about their views of Drake in August 2023 and 2024, shortly after the release of the images. So favorability rating drops. So they're just talking about Drake's favorability rating, what the public is saying. Section 194, as a public figure, Drake's reputation is paramount to his career and is directly related to his financial success. UMG's purposely spread of the defamatory, that word is kicking my ass, material unquestionably caused Drake reputational harm. Because of UMG's defamation, millions of people all over the world now associate Drake with pedophilia and sexual violence against children. I mean, there's a lot of trolls out there. I get it. I still don't think you could sue again. You opened the door for this. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, this just talks about the damage that in the community. Um, Section 96 again goes back to when Lucian Grange was accused of aiding and abetting P. Diddy's criminal sex acts and just what they did. UMG deceived the public and caused Drake harm. Section 199. Just saying that the deceptive business practices just hurt Drake. So this is just like saying, hey, like you guys fucked up. You know what I'm saying? His reputation by promoting this song. And stream manipulation and fake streams, like this is all what they're claiming. So the first claim, this is the charges. The first claims is defamation, right? So that's the one claim. The second claim is harassment in the second degree. The third claim is the violation of the New York General Business Law. I talked about this at the beginning. That really relates to like the payola and the pay for play schemes that they're alleging here. So that's what all this has to deal with. And then prayer for relief. This is what he's seeking, right? I talked about this: nominal damages, compensatory damages, including general, actual, consequential, and special damages in the amount to be determined at trial. So we still don't know how much they're asking for yet. Punitive damages, reasonable and necessary attorney fees, reasonable and necessary costs of the suit, pre-judgment and post-judgment interest at the highest level, a statement, and they want a statement basically like saying, that they did wrong, so to help clear his reputation, injunctive relief, and such other further relief as the court does deem just and appropriate. And it's signed here by his lawyer, and that is the end of it. That was a doozy. If you made it this far, thank you. You know what I'm saying? If you made it this far, thank you. I just thought I'd try something new, just kind of going through it in real time. I know it was a lot, but what I'm thinking is here though. I mean, it's the same thing that I said at the beginning. I get it, but then this shit sucks. I'm sure it caused him harm. I'm sure it is hard out here. I'm sure it is hard to hear this song. I do not know that it's defamation. We got to see if legally this falls under defamation, or is there some type of artistic license that this can be filed under, right? It's a rap song, it's a rap battle. I read the UMG um statement in the beginning. The other thing is Drake has participated in so many rap battles, man. Shit gets said back and forth. Like this to me, just like I said, the biggest part is that this lacks accountability. This lacks accountability, like, not like us came after you said that he beats his lady and he's fathering a love child between his lady and his best friend. Like there was a lot of mud being slung, and I wonder, the Drake allegation stuck because Not Like Us was the better record. It was the hit record. If the shoe was on the other foot, what would the claim be? Would Kendrick be suing? Would Drake be upset if he won the battle and everybody thought Kendrick was a domestic violence, a domestic abuser? This is rap, man, and I'm trying to think about this logically. Y'all know I stay even killed, but I have a hard time um justifying a suit after a rap battle like this. I understand your leverage may be lost. Should have thought about that before you engaged in this battle. Definitely should have thought about that before you mentioned his wife's name. Definitely should have thought about that when he said, "Yo, just let's keep it a friendly fade and not go there." And you went there. Like again, man, you slap the shit out of somebody. You can't get mad when they punch you. It just doesn't work like that. And if you want to fight these labels and change the way that these labels operate, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I'm all for that change, that revolution, that restructuring of the business. But I just don't think it come after a battle. This seems like more about you than wanting to help the artist, or make the space more of an even playing field. And that's cool. But I see a lot of memes like, "Oh, y'all siding with UMG, like y'all like this who y'all siding with." I'm siding with, yo, don't, like, man, you can't go and sue after a rap battle. That's what I'm siding with. So that's just my thoughts. I'm gonna end it right there, man. We've been here over an hour. I appreciate you. If you watched through this and went through this, I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Hit me in the comments. We'll talk. And until the next time, all right? Peace.